The dim glow of golden chandeliers bathed the massive bedroom in a warm, intimate light. Floor-to-ceiling windows stretched across one side, revealing the glittering skyline of Lagos beneath the night sky. Plush white curtains swayed gently as the cool breeze from the central air conditioning unit hummed softly, making the room feel like a sanctuary of pleasure and luxury. On the enormous king-sized bed, covered in soft Egyptian cotton sheets, a man and a woman lay entangled in each other's embrace. The man, Nathaniel Nate Daniels, was one of Nigeria's biggest Afrobeats sensations. His deep, husky voice had melted hearts across the world, his songs topping charts from Lagos to London. Tonight, however, he was singing only for one woman, the breathtakingly beautiful Sophie. Sophie, the infamous enigma. Men called her different names, some in admiration, some in whispers of jealousy. But one thing was certain, she was not a woman any man could easily forget. Dressed in a silk robe that barely covered her caramel-toned skin, she leaned against Nate, her long, wavy hair cascading over her shoulders. Her body was sculpted to perfection, her curves accentuated by the dim lighting that danced along the planes of her flawless skin. She was the definition of wealth, class, and seduction wrapped in one. Nate ran his fingers along her arm, his touch sending shivers down her spine. His lips, which had sung love songs to millions, now hovered just above hers. "You know, baby," he murmured, his voice rich and deep, "you're the kind of woman a man could lose himself in." Sophie smirked, tilting her head slightly. "Lose yourself?" she teased, tracing a finger along his muscular chest. "I hope you can afford to find yourself again." Nate chuckled, his dimples flashing. "With you? I might not want to." He let his fingers slide down her waist, pulling her closer. "I should have met you earlier. Maybe my last album would have been better." She laughed, a soft, velvety sound that made his heart skip. "Oh, please. Your album was already a masterpiece. Every woman in Lagos had your lyrics on their lips. And now," he whispered, leaning in to kiss her collarbone, "I want only you to have me on your lips." Sophie let out a small sigh, closing her eyes as his warm breath sent tingles down her spine. She had been with wealthy men before, politicians, businessmen, even princes, but Nate had a different kind of charm. He wasn't just rich, he was powerful in a way that only true celebrities were. There was something intoxicating about being desired by a man whose voice alone could make women faint. He pulled back slightly, looking into her eyes with a playful glint. "Tell me something, Sophie. What's the fastest you've ever driven?" She raised a brow, intrigued. "Fastest? Maybe 200 on the third mainland bridge." Nate whistled. "Damn. You're wilder than I thought. But I want to take you even faster." She tilted her head, amusement flashing in her eyes. "And how do you plan to do that?" He grinned, pressing his forehead against hers. "After tonight, I'm giving you a Lamborghini." Sophie blinked. "A what?" "A Lamborghini," he repeated, stroking her hair. "The newest model. Matte black, red interior, top speed of 350 kilometers per hour. ITLL match your energy." For the first time in a long time, Sophie felt genuinely surprised. "You're serious?" Nate pulled back slightly, a mischievous smile tugging at his lips. "Have I ever been more serious about anything?" Sophie laughed, shaking her head. "Nate, you're crazy." "I know," he admitted, rolling her onto her back, his body pressing against hers. "Crazy for you." She bit her lip, her heart pounding slightly. She had been gifted diamonds, designer bags, even a house once. But a Lamborghini? That was a new one. "You barely know me," she murmured, watching his eyes darken with desire. He leaned down, brushing his lips against her ear. "I know enough. Enough to know that I want you. Enough to know that you deserve nothing less than the best." Sophie felt her breath hitch. She wasn't new to the game. She had mastered the art of seduction long ago. But tonight, for some reason, she felt a different kind of thrill. "Then take me, Nate," she whispered, her lips brushing against his. "Let's make it a night worth remembering." Nate groaned softly, his hands exploring her body as the city lights flickered through the windows. Tonight, pleasure had a price. But for Sophie, the price had never been sweeter. The soft morning sun filtered through the floor-to-ceiling windows of Sophie's luxurious penthouse, casting golden streaks across her silk-covered king-sized bed. She stretched lazily, her body still tingling from the unforgettable night she had spent in Nate's arms. The echoes of his husky voice whispering sweet promises filled her mind. A Lamborghini, the thought alone, sent an excited shiver through her. Sophie was no stranger to expensive gifts, diamond bracelets, designer handbags, even a luxury apartment in Banana Island. But a Lamborghini? That was a new level. She reached for her phone, a smirk playing on her lips. No messages. No missed calls. "That's strange," she murmured to herself. She had expected at least a "good morning, baby," or "last night was incredible" text. Men like Nate, powerful and arrogant, often had fragile egos. They loved to remind a woman of the pleasure they had given. But nothing. Shrugging, Sophie dialed his number. The phone rang once, twice. Then, "The number you are trying to call is not available at the moment. Please try again later." Sophie frowned, staring at the screen. Maybe he was still asleep. After all, they had gone at it for hours. She smiled to herself, stretching again. She gave it an hour, then dialed again. Same response. She checked WhatsApp. The double ticks on her last message from him were still blue, meaning he had read it, but chosen not to respond. She opened Instagram, searching for his latest post. "Life is too short for regrets. Keep it moving." The caption felt oddly directed at someone. Her heart did a little flip, but she brushed it off. "Calm down, Sophie," she told herself. "He's probably just busy." Still, something felt off. By noon, her patience had worn thin. She called again. This time, it went straight to voicemail. She switched to WhatsApp, sent a voice note. "Sophie, hey baby, I've been trying to reach you. Hope everything's okay. Call me back when you're free." Minutes passed, then an hour, then two. No response. Her stomach tightened. She tried his number again. Blocked. She froze, staring at the screen. A slow wave of realization washed over her. No, he wouldn't dare. She opened WhatsApp again and clicked on his chat. "You can no longer send messages to this contact." Blocked. Her hands tightened around the phone. Her pulse pounded in her ears. She switched to Instagram, searching his profile. Gone. She gasped. Had he unfollowed her? She quickly grabbed her other phone, the one she used for business. She searched his name. At Nate the King, 5.7 million followers. His account was still there, which meant he had only blocked her. Her face hardened. The playful excitement she had woken up with vanished, replaced by simmering anger. "Nate, you bastard," she muttered. Sophie had seen men disappear before. Clients who got what they wanted and vanished. But not Nate. Not after the things he had promised. Her mind raced. Was it just sweet talk? Had he played her? No. She refused to believe it. She dialed another number. It rang twice before a deep male voice answered. "Madam Sophie. Long time." "Simeon," she said, her voice tight. "I need a favor. Find out where Nathaniel Daniels is right now." The man on the other end chuckled. Problems? Just do it." Simeon, an underground informant, was one of her best assets. Within the hour, she received a message. "Simeon, he's at the Palms, Lecky, with another girl." Sophie's grip on her phone tightened. She stared at the message for a long moment, her blood boiling. The nerve, the audacity. She had given him the best night of his life, and now he was whining and dining another woman while she sat here like a fool. Slowly, a smile curved her lips. It wasn't a sweet smile. It was the kind of smile a lioness wore before pouncing on her prey. "Oh, Nate," she murmured, picking up her car keys. "You picked the wrong woman to play with." Sophie had been humiliated before, but no man had ever gotten away with it. The Palms Mall in Lekki was buzzing with life. Shoppers moved in and out of designer stores. Influencers posed for photos near luxury boutiques, and couples strolled hand in hand, lost in their own worlds. The air smelled of fresh coffee, designer perfumes, and expensive colognes, everything Sophie was used to. Her red bottom heels clicked against the polished marble floor as she stormed through the mall, her eyes burning with rage. Dressed in a skin-tight black dress that hugged her curves, her long, wavy hair flowing down her back, she looked every bit the queen she was, except tonight. She was a queen on a mission. Find Nathaniel. She had been ghosted, blocked, ignored. And now, he was here, living his best life with another woman, while she was left looking like a fool. Not today. Her phone buzzed. A message from Simeon. "Simeon, he's at the VIP lounge of the Roof Bar. 3rd floor." Sophie inhaled sharply and marched toward the elevator. When the doors opened on the 3rd floor, she spotted him instantly. Nathaniel Daniels, dressed in a crisp white designer shirt, expensive chains around his neck, his wrist glistening with diamonds. His signature dark shades covered his eyes, but Sophie didn't need to see them to know he was enjoying himself. And beside him, a woman, light-skinned, petite, with long Brazilian curls, giggling like a teenager as she playfully touched his chest. Sophie's blood boiled. She stormed up to their table. "Nathaniel," she said coldly. He turned, lowering his shades slightly, his expression unreadable. "Sophie, just that. No shock, no panic, just indifference." Sophie folded her arms. "So, you've been ignoring my calls, blocking me everywhere, and now you're here spending time with." She gave the woman a once-over. "This?" The woman frowned. "Excuse me?" Nate sighed, rubbing his temples. "Sophie, I'm busy. Whatever this is, it's not the place." Sophie laughed. "Not the place. Oh, but it was the place when you were in my bed, promising me a Lamborghini." "Huh?" A few heads turned. The VIP lounge was exclusive but not empty. People whispered, their curiosity piqued. Nathaniel leaned back in his seat, shaking his head. "Sophie, stop embarrassing yourself." "Embarrassing myself?" Her voice rose slightly. "You're the one who lied. You said you were going to get me a Lamborghini, and after that night, you blocked me everywhere like some cheap escort." Nathaniel scoffed. "And weren't you?" Sophie's breath caught. The words stung like a slap. Gasps echoed from the few onlookers who had been eavesdropping. She felt the heat of humiliation creep up her neck, but she quickly masked it with fury. "Excuse me?" Nathaniel smirked. "Let's be real, Sophie. You weren't with me for love. You wanted something. You got what you wanted for the night. I got what I wanted. End of story." Sophie's hands trembled. You're a liar." Nathaniel took a sip of his drink, calm and collected. "No, sweetheart, I'm just a businessman. And business is over." The woman beside him giggled. "I don't know what you expected. Darling, men like Nate don't settle for the same girl twice." That did it. Sophie felt something inside her snap. She grabbed the glass of wine from Nathaniel's table and threw it straight at him. The red liquid splashed across his pristine white shirt, staining it instantly. Gasps filled the room. Nathaniel slowly stood up, his jaw tightening. "Big mistake, Sophie." She smirked, flipping her hair. "No, darling. The mistake was thinking you could play me and walk away like nothing happened. And with that, she turned on her heels and walked out, head held high. But inside, she was boiling with anger. Nathaniel had humiliated her publicly. If he thought she was just going to disappear quietly, he had another thing coming. By the time Sophie got back to her penthouse, her hands were shaking, not from fear, but from rage. Nathaniel had played her, then discarded her like trash. And to top it all off, he had the audacity to humiliate her in public. She grabbed her phone and opened Twitter. At Sophisticated Sophie, fake men everywhere. Imagine a celebrity promising you a Lamborghini and then blocking you after one night. Biggest liar in the industry. Can't even last long enough to be relevant. She smirked, watching as the tweet started getting likes and retweets. But she wasn't done. She posted a picture of Nathaniel, shirtless, asleep in her bed from the night they spent together. The caption? At Sophisticated Sophie. A king in the studio, but a peasant in bed. Twitter exploded. Wait, is she talking about Nate the King? She's calling him out. Sis, tell us more. Did he at least try to go 2 rounds? Not her exposing a man's bedroom skills on the TL. Sophie sipped her wine, watching as the comments poured in. Nathaniel thought he could ghost her, ignore her, make sure his name trended for the worst reasons. Nathaniel Daniels was no stranger to controversy. In fact, he thrived on it. So when he woke up to see his name trending on Twitter for all the wrong reasons, he didn't panic. He simply stretched, yawned, and scrolled through the chaos. His lips curled into an amused smirk as he read Sophie's posts. A king in the studio, but a peasant in bed? Nathaniel chuckled, shaking his head. This girl was desperate. His manager, Kelvin, burst into the room, phone in hand. Bro, what the hell is going on? Sophie is dragging your name through the mud. She posted a picture of you sleeping. I saw. Nathaniel said coolly, tossing his phone aside. Then why are you so calm? Kelvin asked, pacing. You know how Twitter people are. They'll eat you alive. Nathaniel shrugged. Let them. They love drama. This will blow over in a few days. Kelvin groaned. It's not just Twitter. Blogs are picking it up. Celebrity Nate the King accused of ghosting rich babe after a one-night stand. This is bad for your brand. Man. Nathaniel smirked. Or maybe it's good for my brand. Kelvin frowned. What? Nathaniel leaned back against his bed. Think about it. People are talking. My name is everywhere. Why not turn this into a win? Kelvin hesitated. What are you thinking? Nathaniel grabbed his phone and opened Instagram. He clicked on his story and recorded a video. Good morning to all my fans. Seems like some people have a lot to say about me today. He chuckled, shaking his head. Ladies, let me teach you a lesson. Never expect a reward for doing what you were already willing to do for free. He smirked at the camera. And if you're mad, baby, just go buy the car yourself. He ended the video and hit post. Kelvin's jaw dropped. Bro. Nathaniel laughed. Relax. I'm about to make money off this drama. Get the producers ready. We're making a song tonight. Kelvin groaned, but didn't argue. That evening, Nathaniel went live on Instagram from his studio. His fans flooded the comments. Nate, you really ghosted her? LMAO, tell her to work harder. King, drop a diss track. Women need to understand. No man owes you a gift after one night. Nathaniel smirked. You asked for it, and I deliver. Then he played the beat. She thought she had me, but baby, I'm a ghost. One night only, now you're doing the most. Screaming my name, but I left you on read. Baby, move on, get it out of your head. Laughter exploded in the comments. His fans ate it up. Sophie? She was boiling. Sophie threw her phone across the room. Nathaniel had mocked her publicly. He had humiliated her, ghosted her, And now, he had turned the whole thing into a joke? A song? No. He wasn't getting the last laugh. Sophie's nails tapped against her vanity as she thought. Fine. He had told her to buy the car herself. She would. But not with her money. She picked up her second phone, scrolled through her contacts, and smirked. Hello, Chief Williams. I was just thinking about you. The elderly billionaire chuckled on the other end. Ah, my beautiful Sophie. You only call me when you need something. She laughed softly. That's not true, darling. But now that you mention it, I do have a little favor to ask. There was a pause. What do you need? A Lamborghini, she said smoothly. Brand new. Chief Williams chuckled again. A Lamborghini? That's quite the request. You know, I deserve it, she purred. And you do owe me for last month, remember? Another pause. Then a sigh. Fine. Consider it done. Sophie grinned. I knew I could count on you. The next morning, a brand new, fiery red Lamborghini Huracan was delivered to her mansion. As the car gleamed in the sunlight, Sophie pulled out her phone. She took a slow, sultry picture in front of the car, her curves hugged by an expensive designer dress. Then she opened Instagram. @Sophisticated Sophie. Told me to buy it myself? Done. She hit post. Minutes later, her comment section exploded. OMG, she actually bought it. Rich and unbothered. This is how you shut men up. Sophie wins. Period. And just like that, the war had begun. For weeks, social media was on fire. The battle between Sophie and Nathaniel was the biggest gossip in the entertainment world. Their drama had everything: betrayal, money, heartbreak, and pettiness on another level. Memes flooded the internet. One showed a man holding his chest in pain with the caption, Nathaniel, after seeing Sophie, actually bought the car. Another showed a woman taking notes with the words, Ladies, never rely on a man. Sophie is our mentor. Nathaniel's diss track shot to #1 on Apple Music and Spotify. His fans celebrated, calling him the king of ghosting. But Sophie, she became an icon. Women cheered her for standing her ground. They reposted her picture with the Lamborghini using hashtags like #BossMoves and #MenCanLieButMoneyTalks. For every insult Nathaniel threw, Sophie had a counterattack. But like all social media trends, the drama faded. A month later, something new took over Twitter, and people moved on. One evening, Sophie sat on her penthouse balcony, sipping champagne as she scrolled through her messages. A few blogs were still talking about her and Nathaniel, but the hype was dying. Good. She had won. Her Lamborghini was parked in her garage, shining under the lights. The same car Nathaniel promised, but never delivered. Men would always make promises. Some women believed them. But Sophie, she had learned her lesson. Her phone buzzed. A message from an unknown number. Unknown. You really made me the villain of the year. Sophie smirked. Nathaniel. She replied. Sophie, you did that to yourself, darling. Nathaniel, I hope you enjoyed the show. Sophie, I always do. She blocked the number. Men came and went. But power, money, status, that was hers to keep. The Sophie Nathaniel saga became a cautionary tale. Ladies whispered it to their friends over brunch. Don't let a man promise you a Lamborghini he won't buy. Sophie already suffered for us. Men used it as a joke. Be careful who you ghost. She might drag you online like Sophie did Nathaniel. The internet had moved on, but the lesson remained. Trust words? Never. Trust actions? Maybe. But trust money? Always.